good time zone artifacts, and a happy birthday to all of those around the world. I have everything set up. We got the recap. That's the word I'm looking for. I even went back and refreshed myself on certain character voices. Although Viviana was before I started streaming, so she's who knows? But I've got an idea. This event, it's gonna be... I'm pretty excited, actually. I had to do a thumbnail for YouTube, so I was looking at like the event art, and Ebenholz is in the background, so this is definitely got some big ties to Lingering Echoes as well. We've got quite the collection of characters coming together. I also have my trusty pronunciation website, because no doubt there's going to be a lot of German, I bet. All right, what else we got going on with this? There's a lot of cool skins coming out with this one. What else do we have? Rolls first, outfit second. Okay. Alrighty then. Oh, Juggernauts get their modules. Neat, neat. Neural's getting a second module. So is Bagpipe. Yeah, what's her module do for us? Restores slight 2% more HP, but also restores one skill point per shield when it's broken. Up to 2 skill points, actually. Every 9 seconds, theoretically, she can get 2 extra skill points. Penance, on the other hand, buffs her barrier equal to, goes up from 55% to 75% of her max HP. And she gets a bigger barrier when she kills people as well. Also, I think both of their modules... Yeah, both of their modules reduce damage taken by 15% when they're blocking someone. And it's Neural's second module. What does that one do? When defeated, does not retreat and recovers all HP instead. However, max HP is reduced by 60%, but attack speed is increased by 30%. Can only activate once every deployment. Well, that's wild. And also her deployment skill or talent is improved to deal 100% attack as true damage. Stunning for 4 seconds instead of 3. Nifty. That's really nice with their S2, yeah. But the when defeated thing, that's pretty cool. Besides the new ops in the banner, we also have new ops in the store. It's the one Scotty had. Oh, really? Did Scotty have that? Yeah, I guess most of the time, all the classes kind of share the same module effect. Even if they get them later. We got 2 new characters in the store. Both of them, I believe, are new classes. And you can see them in the store, but it crashes the game if you try to buy them. That's not good. Primal casters, which inflict elemental damage. And then Caper, her class, what's that called? A loop shooter, which I'm not fully sure I understand how they work. But I do know that I believe when I checked months and months ago, her DPS was the best for Mulesy clone. For snipers, at least. For like ranged attack. And it's better than Dorothy. I'd have to check again. I'm pretty sure that's what the case was. Take a look at them. Let's see if it's open. I'm downloading the update. Pretty big update. Almost there. Probably should have opened it earlier, but that's all right. There we go.
Arknights. Have you been doing well lately, Doctor?
So many banners on the left. What's going on? New arrivals. A lot of good stuff. More music shops and Lithuanian things, if that's your style. Free temple, okay. Also, oh yeah, also a meteor outfit. And some furniture. Industry Cooperation Forum, Iron Fist City. Where's Iron Fist City? Iron Forge City's in Colombia. Pretty sure it's Iron Forge, not Iron Fist. Nothing comes up for Iron Fist, so I guess that's new. Yeah, Iron Forge is Colombian. Iron Fist, though. Iron Fist City welcomes a long-awaited International Industry Cooperation Forum. Major corporations from the biopharmaceutical, military security, logistics, mining, and catering sectors will gather here to discuss future cooperation. 14 corporations have extended an invitation to Rhodes Island to discuss working with them. Show your negotiating chops and open a door to future development for Rhodes Island. So we just get Orindum. Okay. Careful steps of Wilson Therapeutics. Very well. I remember they did this once before, actually. I remember now. I don't know if it was Iron Fist City though, but you always go for the guaranteed middle ground, right? That's the best option. So many packs. Caper and Diamante. Or Diamante, I don't know. Can we see them on here? Are we allowed to see? Oh yeah, here we go. Yeah, so loop shooters have a physical projectile. No hit scan. Which is very interesting. So I guess it's kind of like Hoshiguma, not Hoshiguma, kind of like Shirayuki's skill, from what I've seen. Oh, look at this guy. And he inflicts elemental, he inflicts necrosis, like the other girl. whose name I can never remember. Looks like that was my thoughts exactly. Yeah, he looks like a Phantom Thief. All right. And of course, we've got these two. I'm a little disappointed Viviana doesn't have an explosion skill, considering that was her whole thing as an enemy. As far as I'm aware, she doesn't. The skill descriptions don't seem like any of them explode, so. She hits twice, increases attack range, and hits 3 times if it's charged. Attacks all blocked enemies, which maybe that's explodey, I don't know. She can steal attack speed. Might hit 2 times. And then hits twice, has increased resistance, that's neat. Triggers her talent, second talent, 2.5%. Attacks prioritize leaders. Starting with the second use, attack range is +2 and hits 3 times. And duration's increased to 25 seconds. Interesting. Her skill 2. When attacking an elite or leader enemy, there's an 18% chance to gain a shield. But no explodey stuff. And Virtuosa is a ritualist. Also inflicting elemental damage, actually. Also necrosis damage. All that necrosis. Enemies within attack range take 10% attack as necrosis and are slowed. Enemies within attack range take 20% more necrosis. Attacks 300% attack as arts, additional 110% as necrosis. If the enemy is not under the burst effect, can store 3 charges. Click on necrosis. Explodes when at max, 1,000 for normal and elite for 2,000 for leaders, inflicting 50% enfeeblement that gradually recovers and deals 800 elemental damage per second. Reduces the target's attack. It explodes at max. So it's 1,000. So the max is either 1,000 points or 2,000 points. I see. That must be what that is. Dealing 800 elemental damage, which it specifies elemental damage. So is that a new damage type? Separate from physical and arts and true damage? Obviously, I say new, like we've had that one operator for a little bit now, but is it just true damage, but by a different name? That's yeah, elemental resistance. That's true. Enemies do have elemental resistance. That's true. Yeah, I forgot. Attack speed 60. Attacks an additional target when this unit and allied operators with the highest attack within range deal damage to deal an additional 25% attack as necrosis. Stops attacking. Attack range increases. Attack plus 180%. Second talent effect increases to 2.5 times when skill is active for all other operators within range. The one with the highest max HP gains 30% HP, and the one with the highest attack gains 30% attack, and the one with the highest defense gains 30% defense. Interesting. Is every character's elemental damage the same? Like, is hers stronger because she's higher level or something? What does he do? Same amount, okay. All the same. It's interesting that they're all necrosis. Which is the Sarkaz's elemental. There's burn later on. Yeah, we also have burn and we have nervous impairment as well. Those are the three I think those are the only three we've seen. Alright. Pulling. We're pulling for real. Our free 10. Only a 5-star.
Hi, I'm Spot from Operation
Might be the new one
Team
though.
A6. My job is to protect.
Hello, I'm Meteor, the archer from the woods. Do you need an
I'm kind of failing in your polls. That's not good.
Orchid reporting in. Are you the doctor?
Good day. Please call me Moose. And 私は王室探偵のメイと申すのだ。捜査に協力してもらうのだ。
Got stainless. Oh.
I need a job. And being a pharmaceutical company, surely Rhodes Island won't turn down an experienced plant hunter. And the plant hunter in question is none other than...
I'm Earth Spirit, a geology scholar and caster reporting in. I work 8 hours each day.
Hi, hi. Cruz ですよ。
She was born under the tribe Santala tree, so it became her identity, her code name, and a part of her life.
薬草師のミルラと言います。このコードネームは
Is that a 5-star Santala? Was that?
くださったもの。
Yeah, it was. You also got Texas? Base Texas or? Nah. Oh, yeah, limited is available. Baseline is the other guy. Yeah, that's a nice surprise. It's not terrible. Just got Fiametta? Oh my gosh. They keep stealing it from you, I'm sorry. Baseline. Defender. Doctor, I'm here on the behest of Empress Hildegard of Lithuania, and I hope to maintain friendly relations with you. I can act as your messenger and perform music for you as well.
Lancer Fang, captain of Reserve Op Team A1. My team
We're gonna have a whole
traveled to our
orchestra
base to serve Rhodes.
at this point. Rhodes
My name is
Island
Blue,
official marching
formerly of
band.
Pontifica Cohors Lateran. I will be your sword and your wings as I...
Oh, I got 2 baselines. Alright. Santala again. Fascinating. Is she's not up, is she? No. Only 1 5 stars ever up. Alright, here we go. Who's it gonna be? I'll take either or.
Team A6, Orchid, reporting in. Are you the doctor? I look forward.
リターニアの女帝グリムマハトの命に従い参上いたしました。ドクターとは友好的な関係を築いていけたらと思いますので。
Is that a tuba he's carrying?
I
Is he a
salute
tuba
you
player?
in true Snow Realm fashion. My code name is Matterhorn, and I am one of the gods.
ごきげんよう
Nice.
ドクターマーガレットからお噂はかねがね伺っております
Greetings, Margaret told me about you. It's a shame we didn't have a chance to meet in the Grand Knight territory. They called me the Candle Knight at the time. You can call me
あの頃は
Viviana.
私もまだ
Doctor
初
with
期
a
と言われ
K.
ておりました今はどうぞ
まといまるロドスに参上だ。戦いはすべて我が輩に任せてドクターは指揮をた。
Nice to meet you, Doctor. Call me Quercus. It's the first time we've met, but the intel on your desk about Northern Victoria is straight from me. What? Even you're gonna tell me my reports aren't standard?
Quercus. She softer E than I say. I say Quercus. This Quercus. Fair
Hello,
enough.
I'm Hayes. I like relaxing work environments and an employer who knows better than to bother me with too many questions.
I couldn't remember if we got anyone else high, so that's why I'm going through this one still. Just in case. I don't think so, but just in case.
Princess Fumizuki told me to assist Miss Chen.
One down, 1 to go. Let's see who it's gonna be. Might have to pity? Oh no.
こんちは、ドクター。私は宴。オペレーターにはまだ成り立てほやほやだけどね。
You better pray more to the gacha gods.
My name is Plume, formerly of the Pontifica Cohors Lateran. I will be your sword and your wings as I defend your very life.
Caster Stewart reporting in. I'm glad to be working with you.
Hi, hi. Cruise ですよ。未熟者。Hello! I've never been in such a big mobile facility before. I'm so excited.
It's that easy.
残念ながらしばらくはあなたに向けての演奏を禁じられているの。
I should have introduced myself by playing some music for you. Unfortunately, I've been forbidden from doing so for the moment. Let's start with a codename then. You may call me Virtuosa. I'm probably gonna call you Arturia, but sure.
Captain of Reserve.
Oh, and hibiscus. I don't think I got hibiscus before. Yeah, that was new hibiscus. Wow. What a fitting time to get her, actually. Let's hear her on board because I missed it.
Doctor, I'm back. Doctor, I know my last field assignment took longer than usual, but don't look at me like you don't recognize me. Medic Operator Hibiscus, reporting in.
I still find it really funny that she doesn't actually know how to play a flute. She just carries it around. It's not even part of her magic or anything. Like, it's just there. You got 2 Texas, 1 Stainless Fiametta, 3 Viviana, 1 Thorns, 1 Enectes. Hey, at least you got Viviana. That's cool. 3 Vivianas, not bad. 2 Texas, that's pretty cool. Could be worse. But I definitely feel for you still. Almost maxed out Akafuyu. Oh, he's a guardian. You have to get the Texas outfit now? You weren't before? It's a good one. I didn't have... Oh, you didn't have her? Oh, I thought you did. Wow. Well, there you go. Authoritarian teachings. Resistance +6. If there's an allied operator within 8 surrounding tiles, gain another 2 resistance. Interesting. Calming base. Attack +20%. Stops attacking and focuses on healing. Each heal gives an additional, or gives a barrier to the target that absorbs arts damage equal to 30% of his attack. He's got some potential uses. That's not terrible stuff. Extra arts resistance and things. That's pretty good. Cassandra Shoot. I'm not sure how you... I never know how to pronounce the umlaut.
Doctor, I am here at the behest of Empress Hildegard of Lytanian, and I hope to maintain friendly relations with you. I can act as your messenger and perform music for you as well.
Viviana. Nina Tiemann.
Greetings. Margarete told me about you. It's a shame we didn't have a chance to meet in the Grand Knight territory. They called me the Candle Knight at the time. You can call me Viviana, Doctor. Mein Tag war heiter. glücklich meine Nacht.
Not too dissimilar to my intentions for her voice. Cat Protano.
I should have introduced myself by playing some music for you. Unfortunately, I've been forbidden from doing so for the moment. Let's start with a codename then. You may call me Virtuosa.
Elemental support. Oh, Elemental is a it's a character tag now. Yeah, but like her class is inherently elemental, so that feels redundant, but whatever. Got our Juggernaut modules, which I might get them. Might get them both, to be honest. Neryl's armor is actually this one. This one, I might switch to this to Neryl's second module too, actually. We have, most nowadays, we do use her second skill a little more often, but even I think on her third skill, it would still be decent enough. All right, outfit store. You made me hold off on it. Texas, slaying a dragon. Awesome. I mean, her normal outfit is so cool already. A part of me hates to see it go, but this outfit's also really cool. Though it's not a dragon, it's a demon. What's the context for this outfit? Texas, the Omerode says, an iteration from Decision Point. The hunter shot down the great demon Vermithrax, but was betrayed by the lone wolf emperor and banished to the Barrens. Are we still playing D&D? What is this? Very cool. Iteration Providence series Wingbreaker. Is this... Nah, see, this is like a more real outfit. There's his friends in the background. Aww. The background, though, changes. It's his friends, the bounty hunter dude, and the other guy whose name I can't remember. Who he killed. And is it going to change again? Who was the other person? Yeah. Oh, snap. It changes even more. Who is it? What is this? Was that his papa? And then those, and then is that? Do you think that's Maria and Margaret's parents with him? Surely it is, right? Who else would it be? It must be. Oh, there's an intro. But I don't have the English voice on. It must be, yeah, it must be his it was his brother, I think. It must be. That's cool. And then yeah, and then like his younger self, I guess. Although the white outfit, I mean, he'd be like, that's too much of an age difference to that also be his brother. So that must be his father or something. Wow, that's really cool. Then we have Bagpipe's outfit, which is so good. Better than her main outfit. Better, certainly better than the racer outfit. And I am buying it. Epoque sub-brand passe. Series selects Royal Guardswoman Bagpipes uniform as a new cadet at the Military Academy, doubling as formal wear. Training in formal wear was yet another duty of a Royal Guardsman cadet. I like that there's just actual people in the background. Like the far left guy, that's like the generic soldier NPC. But then I like how there's just actual random people with detail. Who are they? Then we have an absinthe skin, which is cute. Epoque sub-brand passe series selects Noon Twilight. Absinthe's former school uniform, and Ursa students wear their uniforms while exercising, resembling a field of neatly spaced seedlings behind a plow. I saw people talking about that the design of this uniform is actually based on real old school Russian school uniforms. So that's, that's neat. And a bunch of other skins. That's interesting. Yeah, there's pictures of the actual uniforms. It's like, oh yeah, they did their research. Alright. More guards knights. We'll try her out. Where is she? Where'd she go? I'm gonna be broke after all of this. Actually broke.
Watching my own fights through a screen. For a moment, I thought I was still in Kazimierz.
Now, it says I have 0 guard chips, but I'm pretty sure I have chips. No, I don't. Terrible at math, apparently. I guess I only got enough for Hodor. But I definitely did farm for Arturia. I know that much.
I've no interest in these means of inflicting harm. Do you mind if I wander about for a bit?
Now it says I'm missing one, but I actually have enough to make another one. I know that much. I did do the math for this one.
You've come to understand me more and more, even without the sound of an instrument to connect us. And yet, just how am I supposed to share this joy in my heart with you?
I like that we've apparently forbid her from playing music as part of her hiring process. She's not trustworthy. I don't know if she's not trustworthy. We'll talk about that in the recap.
I've no interest in these means of inflicting harm. Do you mind if I wander about for a bit?
Only 400 attack. Not that high of attack. I guess her big thing is the elemental damage. Just that's her main source of damage, which is 800 attack, I guess. Not really sure how that works. Enemies in the attack range take 8% of attack as damage. But that's not damage to their health, right? That's 8% stacking to the 1000 cap, right? And then it explodes and then deals 800 damage per second. Is that how that works? I wish I knew. Yep. Yeah, we should probably look that up or something. I don't know. Here we go, elemental damage guide. Oh, this is on... But this is on, like, damage inflicted on us. Oh, here we go. Let's see. Term elemental damage refers to the actual damage which is dealt as part of the resulting effects of elemental infliction damage accumulation, or directly by certain units. Unlike elemental infliction damage, elemental damage is the real damage dealt to a unit's normal HP. Note that if a damage is a qualified type, either in this guide or in this game, such as burn damage, for example, it always refers to elemental infliction damage. The direct real damage dealt is always just elemental damage and is not typed. This term is ambiguous, with the elemental infliction damage mentioned above, which is also called elemental damage in game, as seen in the necrosis description for the example, which is Valarquin, the Sarkaz girl. This term generically refers to the state an enemy unit or friendly operator is in when the elemental infliction damage reaches its threshold, triggering the resulting effects. Graphically, it's represented by the colored ring turning to a paler color and white ring refilling. Because there is no official term for this state, no official translation as of this publishing, and the literal translation is clunky to use, and guides such as this, the unofficial term elemental fallout, or just fallout, is used instead. This is an enemy stat which provides defense against elemental infliction damage. It makes the fallout state, so elemental resistance makes the fallout state more difficult to trigger, which they say fallout, this is an older article, I guess it's officially explosion is what they're calling it, right, in game. Explodes when at max. Perhaps. But so it makes the fallout stat more difficult to trigger, but does not provide any defense against the damage. So it's just harder to get to max, but once it triggers, the damage is not diminished. This was originally labeled as elemental resistance in game and is currently labeled as effect resistance due to the confusion with the similarly labeled elemental res, the unofficial term. Elemental infliction resistance is used in this guide. This is so elemental damage resistance. This is an enemy stat which provides, you know what? Let me pull up. Let me help with some visual. So we got elemental resistance and we got effect resistance. So elemental resistance is the enemy stat which provides defense against the elemental damage. It reduces the amount of damage taken in the fallout state or directly inflicted by primal casters. This is labeled as elemental resistance in game due to confusion. Elemental damage resistance is used in this guide. And then effect resistance makes it harder to build up, it seems. Elemental damage versus elemental damage. There's a lot of confusion when it comes to elemental damage, as much of it comes down to two ambiguous terms. There is the elemental damage, which is used as an umbrella term to cover all varieties of damage used to inflict the negative effects. This is the damage which fills circles and is dealt by units like Valarkvin. In game, it usually is referred to by type, such as necrosis damage. However, the ritualist trait specifically calls it elemental damage as a general term. Then there is elemental damage, which is instead the actual, real damage which results from triggering the elemental effects. This is the damage dealt over time by necrosis, or the additional damage dealt directly by primal casters. For example, the damage is not typed into specific elements like in previously mentioned kind. The damage from burn and warmy is the same as the damage from necrosis and diamanta. It's all elemental damage in the same way all physical damage is physical and all magic damage is arts. This is why we have the situation where the enemy pages show both elemental resistance and elemental res. It's extremely confusing. There's still more. Although this is useful, but not the question I'm looking for. Let's see if we can't find what I'm actually looking for, maybe. So in episode 13 patch, Yosar addressed the major translation issue between the two, so that's nice. Okay, calculation of enemy defenses. Both elemental infliction resistance and elemental damage resistance are calculated the same way as res with arts damage. That is, it's done by a percentage with a minimum of 5% always dealt. For example, if an enemy has elemental infliction resistance of 20, they would take 20% less necrosis damage from Virtuosa. Although it is rare, it's possible to accumulate multiple types of elemental infliction damage. As of this writing, it's most commonly possible for this to happen while using Wormy and who inflicts burn along with one of the other necrosis operators. When this occurs, both types of damage are accumulated and tracked separately. The icon for the damage type with the greatest accumulation, though, is displayed. The other icons are hidden, but the accumulation is still present. However, only one fallout or explosion state may activate at a time. When a fallout is active, no other damage of any type can be further accumulated or healed until fallout state ends. When it ends, all existing accumulation is removed, even as the type is different from the type that was triggered. Interesting. So it's almost kind of a waste to do it. To have more than one type. At least on the same side of the field, I guess. Elemental and damage versus by percentage of attack versus damage dealt. There's a subtle difference in how the amount of damage is calculated between different units. Currently, this effect appears to primarily be between ritualists and primal casters, although this pattern isn't necessarily guaranteed to continue. It comes down to the elemental damage is determined based on a proportion of the unit's attack value or a portion of the unit's damage dealt. The difference may not be obvious at first glance, but the later tends to be worse since it applies after enemy resistance. So if there's an enemy unit, if our unit has 1,000 attack and an enemy has 50 resistance, if they deal 20% of attack as necrosis damage, that would be 200 necrosis damage. However, for a primal caster which deals 20% of damage as necrosis damage, that would only be 100 necrosis damage. Fragile effect now specifies physical, arts, and true, so it does not buff elemental damage. So yeah, so it's 8% of attack as damage. That must be the infliction, and then it does the 800 elemental damage after that, if I'm understanding this. We'll see. We'll see how that goes. Let's get into it. feel like Arturia is just doing a little troll in there. All right, so Zwillingstürme im Herbst. The Twin Towers of Autumn. What's going on? So, wait. We got 3 events for pretty much each of the characters. Starting with Viviana. First makes her appearance in Near Light. Apparently, she actually first made her appearance in Catapult's operator record a few months before Near Light. Did not know that. That's cool. But anyway, she first makes her appearance in Near Light. And she doesn't play a huge role, but she does do some things. And we see throughout the story that she's sympathetic to Nurl's cause of restoring chivalry and true knighthood to Kazimierz. They have a whole duel during the tournament where they're talking about that sort of thing. And during Near Light, she actually helps Flametail escape the Armless Union who came to attack her. She also prevents the assassination attempt on Nurl and the Blood Knight. But other than that, she kind of just in the background. But we do know she's from Lithanian. She sent a lot of her winnings back to Lithanian. And we know now in episode 13 that she has since announced her retirement to return back to Lithanian. Next, we have in Lingering Echoes the story of Ebenholz and Kreida, who are both descendants of the Witch King and both have his voice of Terra inside of them, which is effectively just the Witch King's spirit. They're both interested in playing in a local concert, but the concert is actually secretly a ritual meant to merge both of their voices of Terra and revive the Witch King. To prevent this, Cherney, the head concert organizer and famous infected musician, writes a song infused with his own spirit to entrap the voice of Terra. However, during the performance, Gertrude, a noblewoman who hates pretty much everyone, just kind of hates everything in the whole world, disrupts the song with her own arts. This forces Kreida to take both of the voices into himself, and with both voices merged, the Witch King possesses his body. Ebenholz is forced to kill Kreida to stop the revived Witch King. But despite all of that, the voice of Terra is still inside him, as we learn in the aftermath. He was also allowed to be given a new identity and joined Rhodes Island. And then we have Orte de Escapismo, which I don't think the event in and of itself is important, but Arturia is in it. She's also in Lingering Echoes very, very briefly. But most of her stuff is from Orte de Escapismo, where we learn she is a wanted fugitive from Laterano with the ability to strengthen people's emotions through her arts which she casts through music like other Lithanians. We don't really know why she was in the monastery during the event, nor do I think they ever actually explain why she's a wanted criminal. But I don't think it was because she's really committed a crime. More that she's kind of a troublemaker. To me, she's really a good embodiment of chaotic neutral. Like true chaotic neutral, not like I want to be chaotic neutral, but actually I'm just playing an evil character. Like actually chaotic neutral. She's just there to play music. Her music heightens people's emotions. She wants to perhaps even help those people like lower their inhibitions to and utilize their emotions, and that sometimes causes problems. Because sometimes the emotions are bad, but she doesn't really care about that. She's just there to do it. That's the vibe I get, at least. And in fact, a lot of the event, the like happenings of that event are at least in part caused because of her arts heightening people's emotions in the monastery, leading to, you know, the fire and all that sort of thing. So you can blame her for that, and that's why I think maybe she's wanted because she just goes around causing trouble, but isn't actually like breaking any law, and isn't even causing trouble necessarily to cause trouble. It's just what she does. We'll find out if my assessment of that is correct, I'm sure. But we do learn during the event that she and Federico, aka Executor, have a past together. I think it was that Federico like learned music from her once. But Federico confronts Arteria at the end of the event. She goads him into shooting her with her arts, you know, influencing him. He actually does shoot her, but she has some sort of arts shield that protects her. And then a Lithanian envoy just shows up and is like, hey, Arteria is under our protection, so don't do anything, and also we need her to come with us. Which actually is why she's in Lingering Echoes. Because Orte de Escapismo happens first. So then this Lithanian envoy comes to the monastery, takes Arteria with them. Then she's in Lithanian, sees Lingering Echoes happens. Maybe influenced Lingering Echo? I don't know. We didn't see much of her there, so I can't say for sure if she was actually doing anything, but maybe. I don't know. And that's pretty much it. So let's get in to this. Zwillingstürme Anbeten, which is worship. Zwillingstürme worship. Twin Towers worship. Prelude, surprise return. The poet returns from a long journey only to find a homeland changed. I believe Viviana is a poet, so that's probably her. Rain and wind come hand in hand, with evening in Kreissturmland having after generations of keepers, a house spires, decrepit stairwells will always hide moss somewhere in their cracks, no matter how the casters work to keep them clean. He thinks of Zwillingstürme, of the time when the black spire, reminiscent of the twisted horns, had yet to be superseded by the newly created twin spires, when the majestic city was called by a different name. Of the dazzling auburn alleys in autumn, the kind he crossed through in his youth, still sans wand or dagger. Nestled in his hands were but a few bound poetry collections and precious hopes of freedom. Not so anymore. Though the storm briefly abates, the spire's peak is still ruinously cold. Moonlight stabs through the drapery like rain, like a nail driven through each and every hope, and it springs up. What a shame, he laments. Never again will he see the marigold in bloom. Northern border of Lithuanian and Pfalz, the capital of Kreissturmland, 1100. Marvelous, truly marvelous. A performance of such fluency, as if the moonlight were caressing my cheeks. Eric, what are your thoughts? Yes, Martha, why do you treat me so? Why speak of her? It's not as if your ex-fiancé were here, Eric. The callousness of your features stings my heart deep, yet your beauty takes my breath away all the same, such that I cannot forget. I strongly suggest you move your hands away from my waist. People are watching. Apologies. Did the piece end already? I hadn't even realized. I don't know why, but just now, it was as if I'd been transported back to last autumn, to the day my Martha left me. The sorrow crushed my chest. As I always say, take more walks. Concerts like this may well be rare in Sturmland, but Zwillingstürme is a different story. Yes, sadly, I may not make it to Das Kaiserinfest this year. As I recall, mine Herr, you're a distant uncle with a seat at the Kurfürstenhof. Could it be you've heard something? I know that Kurfürst Werner. No, nothing reliable at least. But the Kurfürst has hardly left his spire once these past months. Even the doctor rarely attends him anymore, while visits from casters serving other houses have grown more frequent. It would seem almost none of us will be venturing outside of Sturmland these days. Das Kaiserinnenfest will come every year, but an audience with the new Lindsherr? Who would dare miss that? Obviously, Fest is festival, and Kaiser is emperor or whatnot. So some sort of festival of. Well, they don't have an emperor anymore. But related to that. I wouldn't dream of it, no offense, but I'd prefer to spend my dreams with my lovely Martha instead. Thank goodness we have Frau Arturia Giallo. Only her cello can grant me a brief reprieve from the pressures of the day. A welcome breath of fresh air. Quite right. A pity that today will be her final concert here. And let me be drunk on it for a while more, just a while. After all, the storm is nigh again. So she can play music normally. What are you standing around for? Did the steward not explain your duties? You're to return to the cellar immediately once dinner is served. Don't disturb the Kurfürst while he's resting. The stern chastisement falls on deaf ears. The servant walks off in a stupor, down the steps and through the door. Like a shell stripped of her soul, she ambles toward the cracking thunder outside. Hold it. Is that blood on your hands? Is the Kurfürst? Guards, quickly! Grocer. When will this weather make up its mind? If it keeps up, my firewood will be damp again. And I just put it away. Hank, could you start the fire already? How long could it possibly take when the back garden is right there? Did you forget your wand again? Didn't we just have a character named Hank? Could it be? May I have an extra candle, sir? Of course, Frau Drostra. Will you be waiting here for someone again, like yesterday? I mean, obviously there can be multiple people to name Hank, but like, what a coincidence. Yeah. The wind's especially strong tonight. You might want to go upstairs. It'll be warmer in there. It's fine. I haven't been back in so long, but my body's still accustomed to the weather here. I just about forgot you're from Sturmland yourself. I saw an article about you in the paper a few years back, and I must say it caught me off guard. I thought I would recognize every young'un raised in these parts. It's not surprising you don't remember me. I'm just an ordinary person. I always have been. Careful now, modesty kills. I even thought the article might have been poppycock until you strolled through the door of my shop. You have the poise and grace of a blue blood from up on the spires. I appreciate what you've done for me over the past 2 days, Herr Muller, especially. Don't you worry now. I won't tell a soul you're here. I know the media's been hounding you even after your retirement. Look on the bright side. You're in Lithuania again. They only ever headline nobles and their big affairs. I suppose. But look at me, keeping you to myself again. Here's your candle. What else will you be needing? Might you have any more books you could lend me? You got through that novel already? I'll check the cupboard. Anything you'd like to read next? I've got 2 illustrated guides, a historical fiction, and 5 or so poetry anthologies. I'm thinking you'd prefer the poems. Herbst Werner runs this folk poetry society, and all these poets like to turn up as special guests, or so I hear.
No, I'll have the historical fiction, please. After returning, I don't think I could stand any more poetry for a while.
Rightio, take this one then, and don't worry about returning it anytime soon. I'll leave you be now. Hank, you little lousebub. I know you're lazing about somewhere.
Tiglit embers.
It's an interesting tale, though it doesn't bear much resemblance to actual history.
Ah, I didn't know this era as our customers. Guten Abend.
It certainly is a good evening.
May I ask your name?
Cora Lowenstein.
So I take it you've read this novel, Frau Lowenstein. Regretfully, I've only been to the opera adapted from it. By the time it was published, I lost my ability to enjoy literature. Your eyes, I apologize. That was tactless of me. Oh, you get used to it after 20 or so years. Besides, it saves money on candles and firewood on nights like these. Do you mind if I sit a little nearer? By all means. What warm candle flame. Did it start raining out there? Your clothes are damp. I forgot to take my umbrella, what with the rush I was in. Pardon me for if I'm mistaken, but did you come here to meet me? All these years and business here is still sluggish. Or no, I suppose. Everything in Sturmland is the same as ever. We've far from the capital, catastrophes keep common, and the weather here lives up to its name. Outside of special occasions, we hardly ever see many out-of-towners. I still remember the view from this spot by the window. You can see the nomadic city plate with the Kurfürst parlor spire, can't you? He should have picked somewhere more out of the way for you. So it was him who sent you. Hold my hand tight. Listen closely. I hear people, many of them hiding outside in the gales. You can control the candle flames by your hand, right, Viviana? I can. Then on my mark, please. Let's extinguish.
The instant the candlelight dims, the grocer's windows shatter into pieces. The rainstorm outside pours in alongside assorted arts energy, covering a full spectrum of effects. Viviana grips Cora's hand, struck with the sense that she's sitting on a skiff in the heart of a raging sea. Wave after wave of arts crashes down on them, all but blowing in the humble storefront to smithereens, yet precisely parting to leave the two of them unscathed. Footsteps clack within the shop.
They can't tell we are here. They have to approach to feel us out. Can you sense their positions? crystal clear. Let me handle this.
Candle flame leaps anew from Viviana's palm. The shadows come to life, reaching their limbs through the ruins and spreading across the rubble to pin looming casters in place.
7, 8, 9. We're safe for now. You saved my life. You handled the brunt of it. All I did was tune their arts a little. Now, let's get away from here before more assassins come calling.
Why are people trying to assassin Doris?
Who were they? People here to meet you like me. Will Herr Muller and Hank be in danger? Our old gentleman's in the back garden. He avoided this attack. My colleague will get him get him to safety shortly. As for Air Assistant, he's the one who called them. He should have known that dealing in shady business like this would earn him more than a handful of originum ingots. I honestly don't see how I am any sort of less vile target. I'll explain in a moment. For the time being, Viviana, could you let me take a proper look at you? You mean...
The woman's beautiful face may be unfamiliar to her, but her voice and expression are anything but. Viviana finds herself unable to decline. Cora lifts her hands and feels about for Viviana's cheeks, her fingers tracing a few soft strokes once they alight. Her movements are infinitely tender, the sort one would use for handling the most precious instrument. And as if in response, tears well up in her lusterless eyes.
You resemble your mother so much. If only Werner could see you now, how joyous he would have been so close to. He spent so long struggling in his sickbed just to see you one last time. Werner, my father. Did he... I'm sorry, Viviana. Not long ago, your father, Sturmland Kurfürst Werner, passed away in his spire.
And that is how it transpired, mine heir. We were in our places keeping watch. Nobody expected the assassin to infiltrate the Kurfürst's room. Oh snap, look at this guy.
The assassin, you say? The Kurfürst's personal attendant?
Yeah, my heir.
She had been employed in this spire for more than half her lifeline.
The Kurfürst trusted her implicitly, as did we all, yet without a doubt she was the last to see him alive.
Did anyone else enter the room after the incident?
Only the personal bodyguard and the doctor.
Did anyone else step outside?
9. Not one of us set foot outside the Polar Spire this evening. We still haven't identified who among us is to blame, so we've locked all the servants in the basement cells for now. Shall I show you the way?
No need. I've already met with them.
Did you question the assassin?
Having been under the effects of psychological arts, she has no recollection of her whereabouts.
Ah. Okay. We should try to torture her, otherwise it's near impossible to determine if she's lying.
Well then, are you lying?
Me? 9, my heir. How could I? I've been loyal to the Hochberg family for over a decade. Everything I have I owe to Kurfürst Werner.
Then would you swear that upon the Goldene Gestalt?
Yep. That's a word. Guldineskesat. Nothing comes up. Although maybe I need that. Maybe I need the diacritic there. Ah, yes. Golden set is what it is actually what it translates to. The golden set. Okay. Yeah. Golden-esque is that, the golden movement. How would I dare to deceive a Gesatz watcher? Golden Watcher? Look at that guy. That's some cool armor. You looked the spire after what happened in there. You have the same smell. You have the smell of rainwater on you. The helm of your clothes are brushed against the moss in the cracks of the step outside. 10 years is nothing. You don't yet know House Ochberg's well enough. Just as you don't know Kurvers Werner well enough. The Kurfürst, he summoned you here. The Kurfürst plucked you out of, picked up on your disloyalty. You began stirring into action once he fell ill. I only regret that Frau Lowenstein and I were ultimately one step behind. Send notice to the concert master that the Gestatswacher has found that... It is futile to resist the melody's fetters. Much like your wisdom, your arts are ugly and brittle. Where did you send that thing? Answer me, remnant. Zwillingstürme. Is your concertmaster the one who used psychological arts to influence the attendant? Are they also in Zwillingstürme? The concertmaster? No, my head! My head! The golden melody now resounds in the deepest parts of your soul. Any intent to disobey, and your mind will collapse beneath its weight. Gestatswacher. With such absolute power, why must you serve as a thrall to the twin puppets? It is not my melody that restrains you, nor the decree of the Kaiserin. What you are failing to resist is the will of Lithuanian herself. The will of Lithuanian? Since when did the present-day Lithuanian even have a fraction of the will she should? The Genesis horn, the might of the great Herkunthorn, will come to enshroud this land anew. Gah! The feeble sound that death plays, a caster that can see such cries over such a long distance, is no ordinary remnant. The concert master. Frau, the ride from Zwillingstürme is here. Are we leaving right now?
Yes, let's go. The friend who invited me here has just taken the curtain car. I've played every place I needed to. There's no reason to linger here any longer.
Well, maybe she is a little more criminal than I gave her credit for. But why is she helping the remnants?
Somehow, without realizing, I've been staying here all this time. Martha, my dear Martha.
Oh, this is that young noble. Martha, my dear Martha. Oh, it's like I'm dreaming. How long would I have to wait to hear such a remarkable performance again? I've told you, you're not to disturb me whenever I'm attending a What? Wait, what did you say? I'll be back post-haste. Get my ride ready. I need to see a few friends. And one more thing. I want the wood carving I bought in Lupukarm, as well as the Victorian porcelain I keep in the study. Bring them both. By such hate, was the Kurfürst not alive and well this morning? The days to come will be arduous once more. Oh, Arturia, only your music and your beauty can deliver me from this nightmare. A sheer effort I went to just to arrive at her interim abode, only to find she had already... Please continue. Continue, who are you? And what's that you're holding? A wand or a...
You mentioned an intent to visit Arturia. I assume you have some relation to her. I am currently searching for her, therefore, I require any and all pertinent leads.
You're looking for Frau Giallo too? Are you some fanatic follower of hers?
Follower. That is a highly inaccurate description. Per the tenets of the law, I am on special assignment by the Curia. I must apprehend the fugitive and repatriate her to Laterano.
The fugitive? Frau Giallo is a guest of the Kurfürst, and no matter the rumors from outside, no, I find you far more suspicious.
Herr Eric, are you still well? They put the alley under lockdown out there. Gendarmerie all over the place. I hear even a guest watcher went over to the Kurfürst parlor spire.
Danke, I'm well enough. I was just about to visit a few Grafen and see what word I could pick off the grapevine. How uncanny one night can get. Damn, my indolent chauffeur, where is he? At least, one small stroke of fortune is that Frau Giallo has already left. Our Earth had already safely departed for Zwillingstürme. Wait, where did that eerie song ticket off to?
The fugitive Arturia is no longer here. Executor Federico, continuing pursuit of target. Destination, Zwillingstürme, capital of Lithuanian.
I wonder if his little robot cube will actually show up in the story.
It's time we got going too, Viviana. They'll announce that the Kurfürst passed away from illness. It's understandable. A white lie to keep the domain in order. I won't be able to attend the funeral, will I? I'm so sorry. You never even got to see him one last time after you rushed back from Kazimierz and everything. And now you can't even go to mourn him. I'm not even sure I have the right to anyway. I scarcely remember how he looked. In all those years, all the word Vaza meant to me was just the letters he sent to Kazimierz. And yet, I can't help but think that even the letters themselves might well have been written by a retainer instead. Your father never once forgot about you. So everyone tells me, including himself. Am I willing to, and I am willing to believe it. But as I read from the last letter, I still hesitated. I don't know if I should. No, if I wanted to come back. You have a tender heart, Viviana. I can't imagine you ever decline a dying man's last wish. Or perhaps it was the spire I wanted to see one last time. Just to see if it still towered over the clouds like I remembered. You can't go back there, at least not for now. For your own safety, we should remain in Sturmland for long. Or shouldn't remain in Sturmland for long. They're the ones who took his life, and the casters who came for me last night, sent by the same people? Not necessarily. With Werner gone, anyone that knows you are who you are has reason enough to make a move against you. You're your father's sole descendant. In times this turbulent, neither his enemies nor his former vassals, nor anyone else potentially in line to succeed him will just leave you be. Then what about you? Why are you protecting me? Think, and you might still recall, child. 13 years ago, upon your mother's passing, I was the one who took you to the Grand Knight territory. Then you are the Imperial Orchestra of Lithuanians. Instrument tuner, quite a convenient role. The Raxorchester visit the Raxorchester's visit symbolized the friendly ties between Lithuanian and Kazimierz. No one would think to question a child with an instrument among them. So you've saved my life more than once. It was your father who wanted to more than anyone. Some months ago, Werner realized his days were waning, and he worried that after he left us, you'd be dragged down as a sacrifice in the power struggle. Your role in this is unique. Whether you choose to return to Lithuanian or stay in Kazimierz, the waves would have reached you regardless. He had no choice but to turn to me and Brandt. He hoped that, as old friends of his, we could bring you safely to Zwillingstürme. There you'll be under the protection of the Kaiserin. Protection of the Empresses? Yeah, that's what Werner wanted for you. Viviana von Orschberg. In the name of your family, you are to serve as the Empress's voice.
Central Lithuanian, Kreis Einwald, in a town on the outskirts of Zwillingstürme, not far from the city gate.
I need sleep. Verdammt, why am I on duty again? Those spry young wretches always clocking out early. What excuse do they have today? A new movie? Some underground live show? The moment the months roll over, I'll see that I get word in with the Baron to speed up my transfer to Zwillingstürme. Hey, you there! What are you doing loitering here this late?
I am taking my regular walk. To my knowledge, there have been no new decrees forbidding law-abiding citizens like myself from rambling the wilds past midnight.
Well, you're not wrong. Just another bored youth going for a walk. Why was I getting so nervous?
Am I free to go now? I appreciate your concern.
Go on, be on your... Wait. Why do I get the feeling I've seen you before?
You must be mistaken. After all, didn't you just tell me that strolling nighttime youths are as common as anything?
Where are you from? By your accent, I'm guessing the Erdika Grastraft?
I was born there, in the countryside.
The countryside? What kind of country bumpkin talks like that? Stop being ridiculous. No, now that you mention it, I've never heard of any commoner pronounce things the way you do. Say, you wouldn't happen to be a runaway son of some small-time noble, would you? Let me check your ID.
If you're fantasizing about gaining the favor of some aristocrat for returning me, you will be sorely disappointed.
Has anyone ever told you that the way you talk could seriously piss people off? ID now.
Oh snap, it's the coffee guy. I looked up people's voices, didn't think he'd show up.
Pardon. I've got my boy's passport right here. Do peruse.
And who are you?
Come on, you don't remember me? I live in the city, that secondhand bookshop guy. Speaking of which, the books aren't quite flying off the shelves, and lately I've been thinking about a cafe instead. You must be awfully tired this late on patrol, no? Here, try my coffee, my own brew. Sip. Always look up. He's a random NPC. How was I supposed? He's not too random. He is a spy for like the Empresses or something. So, but still, you can't blame me for this one. Choke.
My God, the taste! I forgot about that cafe. I'd forget about that cafe if I were you, for your own sake.
As long as it wakes you up. So, are you done with the passport?
Ebenholtz, that's your full name?
Yeah. His parents just loved the piano, the keys especially. It was between Ebenholtz or Elfenbein.
Well, whatever. Be on your way. You think they pay me enough to question a kid's legal name? And yes, you give me all the disgusting swill you've got left, I'll need it.
If you'd known you'd be back so soon, why would you not have burned your passport?
I regret nothing. If you must know, I naturally assumed that whenever you people wanted me back, you'd simply print a second one, or as many as you needed.
So why did you come back?
For the hundreds of thousands of residents of the Urtica Grafschaft, over 100 retainers in the spire alone, I'm not so far gone in my selfishness that I'd sacrifice them all for my so-called freedom. Which means you can stop with the jokes, my dear spy. Or did their majesties send you to try me again? See if maybe I'll pour my heart out and wait for them hand and foot?
With Das Kaiserinnen Fest approaching, Zwillingstürme has been restless lately.
And of course I still have that thing in my head. I know better than any of you that the performance of this ludicrously granted piece is far from over.
Listen to me, mein Herr. My mission ends here. Once you head into Zwillingstürme, someone else will pick you up. Maybe you've already realized this, but you've had two correspondents, one ordering you to come to the capital and the other granting you official death. But it wasn't the same majesty that wrote both. Compared to the first benevolence and the other, Ebenholtz doesn't even let Biegler finish before walking off. Just before disappearing around the corner for good, the young man waves ta-ta to him. So you knew. Former Graf Urtica, are you hoping for a true death this time? I'm getting sentimental now in all this miserable gray weather. May you... no, never mind. If people like us still have a shred of luck to spare, then let's pray we never have to meet again. See? He's gone. Doesn't even matter. All right. Choral Lied des klaren Himmels. Song of the Clear Sky. The hymn Song of a Clear Sky became popular after the fall of the Witch King's spire. Since then, the sky above Lithanian has remained clear, the haze forever dispelled. I do like the background music for this. Eval. Texas looks almost like an entirely different person. The light is really changing her hair color from blue-black to like a light brunette.
Viviana Droste shall wield candle and blade to win victories in your name.
Sunlight's a little spicy. Just let me take 5. Understood, Professor.
What audience have you picked for me today?
Put together a team with the new people, of course. And I guess the old people as well. I guess we should still use Hodor. We haven't used them too much, to be honest. So I guess we can still use them.
If conflict is unavoidable, a swift end is a form of mercy.
Do we want Jessica? I guess so. I guess we'll stick with Jessica. I guess. Which skill for Arturia? Golden Exorcise is a big attack with some extra necrosis. Requiem Mass is an attack speed. Hits an additional target. And when the allied operator at the highest attack within range deals damage, deals more necrosis damage. That's interesting. I guess we can try them both out. Anyone else? we're good. For now. Would be fun for like a Lithanian group, but I don't really have any Lithanians. At least leveled up.
My damn. You should rest. Just how many times have we reprinted this already? If you're reworking the piece, then why not have me contact the art gallery and ask them to delay the exhibition? You've been so much more spirited since the musician arrived, but to jump straight back into painting when you've yet to fully recover from your illness, to work on this piece... Is this a night sky? The blacks are so intense I can't make anything out.
What a truly that's wrong accent. What a truly unforgettable shade of night. I see your painting will soon be complete. However, the intense emotions fueling your tireless endeavors are also wearing down your body. And you're in no shape to go on. So, would you like me to continue my performance? Alright, I've heard your answer. As well as your pain, regret, remorse, obsession, and your heart. Lithanian died alongside you that night, the very same night reflected in your painting. Then allow me to play you a dirge, albeit more than 20 years late.
Lithanian's capital, Zwillingstürme, city center. Is this the city center? I mean, I guess it could be in the center of the city. Golden-haired woman who's definitely just not the Empress.
Listen. Every day at this hour, this city is filled with all kinds of music. Students stopping by the instrument shops on their way home from school, discussing which of the new instruments has a more stable circuit. Pedestrians getting off work, slowing their pace as their coins jingle into an instrument case in front of a street artist. Young lovers clinking together glasses of wine in restaurants, and stoves steaming in warm homes. Every scene as touching as the last.
Instruments and Zwillingstürme have always been a source of inspiration for many great musicians. Then shall we add a few more pieces to the program for our celebration? Every year, we begin with the Golden Gestarts, and then perform the same routine with classical pieces after. Surely the people are becoming less and less interested by the year. As ever, the program is up to your majesties to decide.
Then let's have a chat for the conductor and the principals after this. By the way, I recall you mentioning that you brought a young lady to see me.
Yeah, your majesty. This is Viviana, Werner's daughter. Pleased to make your acquaintance. Avigegnad, your majesty.
Evigegnada is eternal grace. Ah, even better than expected. Are you still getting used to Lithanian after your return from Kajimesh?
I am grateful for your concern. Lithanian is far more elegant and beautiful than I remember.
No need to be so formal. Cora and I often meet outside the spires for a chat, like the one we're having now. You must still be mourning over Verna's passing. If we had the luxury of time, I would much rather you have a chance to relax in the city first.
You mean before you appoint me as...
An Empress's voice. As you've heard from Cora, this is Verna's request.
I am truly honored by the opportunity.
The nobles prefer to send me their youngest sons when they're about 10 years of age, but I believe you're fully qualified for the position. And after meeting you in person, I'm even more sure of it.
You have praised me too highly.
Your modesty is a virtue, but so is the courage to speak your mind. While I'd be more than glad to fulfill your father's request, I'd also like to hear your own thoughts on this. How do you truly feel about yourself, about Lithanian, about the future before us?
Your Majesty, I was not aware that you'd be entertaining a guest.
It's fine, Brand. This is the time I told you to come over, after all. Tell me about your findings in Sturmland.
Their copy of the Golden Gestats was stolen from the Kurfürst Spire. The thieves are most likely part of the same group behind the Kurfürst's assassination, who call themselves the Echoes of Herkunthorn.
Herkunthorn, the Genesis Horn. Now that's a name I haven't heard in a long time.
The Witch King's remains. I interrogated one of their men. They have sent the copy to Zwillingstürme.
To this very city. Cora, how many years have we done Das Kaisernenfest?
This will be the 23rd, Your Majesty.
So he's been dead for 23 years now. How many of these people working tirelessly in his name have even seen him with their own eyes? It's something I've always found saddening. Just what it is about the Lithanian of today that fills them with such resentment.
Resentment has never been rational, Your Majesty.
Perhaps I should call off this year's events. If they really intend for using the movement to cause chaos in the capital, I don't want anyone to come to this for the celebration. I don't want anyone who came for the celebration to come to harm.
We still have 3 days to go. I will find them and retrieve it.
I should have dispatched several voices to work on this together.
Allow me, Your Majesty. The Empress's voices represents the glory and majesty of the Kaiserinnen, so if they were to suddenly show up across the city, they will naturally attract attention from both civilians and the enemy. But I Or rather, what the people know me for has nothing whatsoever to do with this matter.
An interesting proposal. Your Majesty, I believe we shouldn't let an untrained Brand Rainer. I'm sure you and Viviana will be enough to solve this problem for me. Yeah. Also, another voice has just brought back a couple of interesting pieces from Kreis Vasserland. Ask Hildegard if she would like to come by my tower for a listening session. After all, you're going to see her after this, yes? Yeah, Your Majesty. Grand Master Ioletta has taught you well. I have a feeling you'll be my favorite voice. Dankeschön. Anyway, I don't need an answer today, but I'll allow you to act as an Empress's voice in the meantime. Of course, any new voices will only officially enter the spires after the celebrations are over, as per usual. Until then, I will be anticipating your answer. My true feelings. Sadly, our meeting has been as brief as the sunset. Hold on. It's time. Do you see it? The fountain in the plaza. Beautiful, no. It's not simply water splashing along to a melody. The flowing water is itself the medium playing it. I've heard that many of the buildings and streets in Zwillingstürme are themselves instruments. Back in the day, I took a bit of time to figure out a way to keep them stable for decades. It seems the time was well spent. You designed them personally? Viviana, no matter what choice you make in the end, I do hope you'll fall in love with this place as I have. Until then, let Zwillingstürme's afterglow bring you some solace. The afterglow. She had often imagined what kind of city Zwillingstürme would be like. But she had a good guess from the novels and poems she read as a child. She understood what it really looked like from the news and foreign television programs. But only now does she stand in the center of the capital, the first time, experiencing the city's lights and shadows, its sounds and scents. Colors out of a classical painting. The timbre of accordions playing, and the fragrance of marigolds. It's just like a living poem. Surprisingly, the evening in Zwillingstürme is exactly how I imagined it. You didn't need to involve yourself in layers. Her Majesty never gave me a chance to excuse myself before they spoke about it, which means I was already involved. Besides, there are things I'm curious about too. You want to uncover the truth of your father's death. Not just that, I also wish to find myself within the darkness about to descend upon us. Then you're already prepared to step into the night. Before I returned, I gave away my entire book collection to a friend of mine. She too had just returned to the homeland that once expelled her, and carried with a certain conviction. I'm sure you'll laugh at me at most for saying this, but back then, I imagined countless times how she must have felt at that moment. And now, I think I have the slightest inkling for that.
Oh, look at this person. Grimnacht. Got some sick designs.
Your concerns about Lieselotta's decision.
The Empress's voices chosen by Evignada have always been qualified, and I will not question her judgment in that regard. Frau Viviana Drosta is an excellent caster. I've seen recordings of her skilled manipulations of candle flames and shadows, but her experience in handling actual crises may be lacking. After all of her experience in battle has occurred on artificial stages.
Brant Raynor, your allegiance no longer lies with the Hochberg family.
No one is more aware of that than I, Your Majesty. Otherwise, I wouldn't have simply stood here with a blank stare at that night 23 years ago.
Wait, is that the other Empress? We've only seen the blonde one. I figured they were both blonde.
I lost the right to choose long ago. The blade and arts of the Gestaltwacher belong only to the Golden Gestalts and to Lotharnian.
The Golden Gestalts and Lotharnian. What if you could only choose one?
The Golden Gestalts defines Lotharnian. In over 1,000 years, the two have never diverged.
The movement's melodies was created by Lotharnians, and it's hardly impossible to alter it. Urkoshorn certainly did. Bearing but one part of the responsibility necessarily means abandoning the others. Think of it through, Brant. No one in this land can refuse to make a choice forever.
I will carefully consider your words. There is one more thing. Evignada wanted me to ask you if you were free to listen to a performance by the Empress's voices.
So, okay. I thought Avignada, however that's pronounced, I don't know, I try to look it up. I thought that was just their way of, like, you saying Your Majesty, like, oh, Your Eternal Grace, but I think that's actually her name, is Eternal Grace. And then this one is Grimmacht. Or is her name Leo Soletta? Yeah, because no, they mentioned Leo Soletta first, didn't they? That would make more sense, actually. Where did they say that the first time? Yeah, you have concern about Lieselotta's decision. Yeah, that's her name then. So it is Eternal Grace, is just the name of the their formal address. Rather.
Lieselotta will probably have fallen asleep by the time I head over, though. Michael.
Your Majesty, first things first, I don't want to go to the spire next door for dinner on your behalf anymore. I'm sure you know she doesn't like me at all.
Enough of your jests. Continue keeping an eye on the happenings in the city.
Do you need me to cooperate with the Gestaltwacher and the unofficial Empress's voice, or the opposite?
I already told you.
Continue, right? Got it.
It's interesting that they both live in separate towers.
Did you see that just now? Frau Simon, and those black paintings too.
How horrid. Everyone's saying that it's a curse from His Majesty. Move along, don't crowd in here. The road ahead is closed, and the gallery will not be open to the public today. Sinja replied to Graf Joseph. The gendarmerie will bear the cost of the gallery's damages. Yeah, Captain Loris. Right. Did you have the concert details of the Fraulein who lost her necklace the other day? That girl's an editor-in-chief for the Kunst der Zwillingstürme. Please ask her to leave some space in their next issue for a presentation on, well, Frau Siemens' posthumous work. Presentation? Invite the critics to use their imaginations. Frau Siemen has created a new work with her blood, sweat, and tears, and, unfortunately, ended up also giving her life to the canvas and succumbing to exhaustion. Her final piece is certainly deserving of some sort of praise. Unfortunately, this incomplete masterpiece will not be exhibited to the public as per her final wishes. I can only hope for the article to have no mention of Her Majesty's name. So what do you think is the actual reason for Frau Siemens' demise? Who let you in? Wait, the candle!
Technically, the title issued by the Cashmere's Knights Association no longer belongs to me after retirement.
I don't care what the Cashmerans think. A few years back, when they were hiding you in the snow, I wrote a few letters of protest to the Nova nightclub. And when I later found out about your retirement, I drowned myself in drink for a few days behind the captain's back.
So that's why you were slacking off back then. But I'll overlook it for the sake of our distinguished guest.
Guten Tag, Weisegraf Lorsborden.
A pleasure to meet your acquaintance. Pass the order. This lovely lady is the gallery's sole visitor of the day. Tell the men to keep watch outside and not to interfere with her movements.
Right away, sir.
When Frau Lowenstein greeted me earlier, I had no idea their majesties had actually appointed another special envoy.
I hope you can keep this a secret.
Please rest assured. Although, this is such a small accident, so why did it bring the Kaiserin's secret envoy into action?
An accident? Is that the conclusion of the gendarmerie's investigation?
We did the forensics, and Frau Siemann did indeed die from exhaustion. According to her attendant, she went without food and rest for multiple days on end. I can't help but admire her spirit. Such a dedicated artist is hard to come by, even in Lithuanian.
This work must have been extremely important to her then.
Frau Siemann was not presented a new work, or has not presented a new work for more than 2 decades. She then suddenly decided to work on this painting, even notifying the gallery in advance that would personally unveil it today, on the first day of the exhibition. I'm sure you know what happened next. When the audience arrived, they were greeted only by the artist collapsing in front of her painting.
What about the painting itself? Was it completed?
A difficult question to answer. You better see it with your own eyes. I can only say that its subject was an unexpected surprise.
Is this the brochure for the exhibition? They're told des Hexenkönigs, Did the artist title her work before completing it?
To be honest, many of the visitors came rushing here because of the name.
I would have thought that Lithuanian would find it quite unwelcoming.
I'm guessing you haven't been here for long. What does it translate to? The death of the Witch King. That makes sense.
I only just returned a little while ago.
No wonder. You may not be aware, but the fall of His Majesty is an enormously popular subject these days. Even counting operas alone, there are over 100 depicting how the Kaiserin miraculously triumphed over their enemy.
How careless of me. So the actual protagonists of these stories are their majesties?
Haha, in Lithuanian, you're free to create anything, so this is probably the result of other people revealing their true feelings. Frau Seaman may have also wanted to take the celebration as a chance to add a bit of luster to this national holiday by working with such a classic theme.
Even so, you said her painting was an unexpected surprise.
It's just up ahead, just around the corner. Once you've had a look, I think you'll share my hope that this was just an accident.
An attack?
Please wait here while I check on the situation.
I could help you out.
It might turn out to just be a couple of drunkards on the streets breaking in their new wands, and I'd rather not bother you with such a trifling. Captain, we've triangulated the source of the noise that is coming from the alley over there. Have you sent anyone over? The second squad went in, but no one's come out yet. Are they still in there? It was the strangest fellow we've ever seen. He definitely heard about us rushing over, but it seemed like he was trying to break into the gallery instead of fleeing. Could this be something big? Do you want to bring in a few more along, Captain? No need for that. Like I said, it's nothing major, just some crazy punks stirring up trouble for us to vent their frustrations. Right, the lady that you fancy. The competition knight, what was her surname? Candle Drosta. A name I've never heard of. Tell the others to keep the chase while we return to the gallery to make sure Frau Drosta doesn't come to any harm. A noble woman with the Kaiserin's trust is far more valuable than all the works and secrets in that gallery combined.
Footsteps. Is there someone up ahead? Isn't the gallery closed out to the public? So this is the painting, and the subject is the death of the Witch King. No, this isn't Der Tod des Axenkönigs at all. This is
Black and disorderly, the lines twist into infinity. Der Tod des Hexenkönigs. Sitting at the center isn't the only thing to have those twisted lines painted over it. Every other painting on the wall spouts the same look. The black spirals resembling vortices, breaking out of the frames one after another and filling the entire space. The lines seem to twist and burrow into her eyes, erupting into a series of mournful sobs in the depths of her mind. Her consciousness is pulled, deformed, fractured, and plunged into chaos. Shadows sway beneath Viviana. She can hardly control her arts. She wants to preserve herself, to escape. This terrifying power needs no concrete descriptor, image, or sound to remind anyone of what it is. Much like its title, it forcefully crams itself directly into its audience's cognition, reflecting its very meaning into their minds. the Witch King.
What a beautiful piece of art.
A calm voice can suddenly be heard in the center of the exhibition hall. The noise comes to a halt, and the black spirals retreat into the paintings.
This painting has no obvious trace of Originium art.
Oh, that's Viviana, actually.
There's no obvious trace of Originium art, so why? Arts aren't the only thing that can affect the mind. So, something need only be true enough to tug at one's heartstrings, be it a picture or a melody. But please, don't fear it, feel it. It's very intense. A rich, deep emotion flows in these seemingly messy brushstrokes. It's hard to keep looking. That's because you're looking at a person's soul. She put both the Witch King in her heart and her very life onto the canvas.
Fraz Demon, what connection did she have with this majesty?
His death changed her entire life. As a young woman, she revered the man on the throne. She was in love with the symbol, a god. And then that god fell right before her eyes. She was confused, bewildered by his mortality. She lost her love, her purest emotion, and very nearly her ability to create as well. She was trapped. And only when her life was nearing its end did she realize this.
You speak as if you've her.
Her innermost emotions resonated with my melody. I went into the depths of her soul and heard her cry for help.
Cry for help?
It's the same everywhere you go. Many people are trapped in whatever fateful moment changed the course of their lives, walking along an endless spiral staircase, just like your father and you as well.
There we go.
We can take care of ourselves, Professor. You just focus on giving orders.
Remnant Orchestra Trumpeter. After a few attacks, the next attack deals splash damage and a cross. Attacks deal arts damage when Passionate Variation is active. This is fun background music.
You saw nothing.
War never changes.
Moving to designated location.
Orchestra Flautist. A flautist who wants to join their king's orchestra. After a few attacks, the next attack has increased attack.
An improv from us.
This is no arena. No scars will be remembered or awarded. Alas, but tying your legs together won't make you fly. I listen to blassweiße Rosen, schlichte Kleingeister. I wait for that belated serenity.
It's interesting that the charge effect, it's an auto skill. The charge effect increases attack range. So I guess if she's not attacking anyone, it could be charged. And then she can just hit them when they're further away.
Alas, but tying your legs together won't make you fly. Why obsess over rhymes? Poetry is woven with the thread of ideas.
The concert made liberty and sunlight all around us.
No, you don't.
I had luck. You ran into me. Need speed to succeed.
It is your tyrannies that fuel this flame.
Alas, but tying your legs together won't make you fly.
I don't think Arturia's actually inflicted her necrosis damage at all. She's killing them too fast. Just we'll have to wait until stronger enemies to see what it does.
Let time rest upon this unlit night.
Liberty and sunlight all around us. Mission accomplished.
The nights spent up in the spire were always quiet compared to the clamor of the city. The cheers grow increasingly loud as elegantly dressed musicians leave one by one with their instruments in tow. She remains the last one in the vehicle. Don't be afraid, Viviana. Someone walks over and holds her hand. Kazimierz and Lithanian aren't the same, but you'll get used to it. She nods obediently and follows the crowd out of the car. Still, she subconsciously closes her eyes as the neon lights of the Grand Knight territory pierce her vision. She's never told this to anyone, but back then it wasn't the strange new country she was afraid of. After all, her impression of Lithanian came solely from the windows in her room, less than a square meter wide. It's hard to say that she knew the country at all that well. What she found was so frightening was that the seemingly noisy evening outside might not actually be so different from the small slice of night in her memories. Viviana. Are you alright, Viviana?
Frau Lowenstein. I'm reminded when I first arrived in Kazimierz. Back then, you were holding my hand just like now. Your palms are all sweaty. What happened? It is nothing. I just chatted with a strange woman. I stopped by Graf Yosef's office earlier, but I only sent your presents when I arrived here. She didn't do anything to me, and she showed no hostility either. I think she simply came for the paintings too. Right about the paintings. I'm sorry. Should I describe what they look like for you? No, please avert your eyes from them. Is there something wrong with them? They're older. During the Witch King's reign, people were far more enthusiastic about Orangenium research than they are today. The casters, or should I say artists, on the side of the Witch King, saw it as more than just an energy source, or a material for conducting arts. They believed that Orangenium was another form of flesh and blood, and could serve as a medium for the soul. So you're saying that the black substance on the paintings is refined Orangenium crystals mixed with the artist's blood? It sounds like this exhibition was rather well thought out.
Go cover up the paintings. Use the heaviest fabric you can, and be sure not to touch the frames. You understood? I think the two of you should leave as soon as possible. The intruder has yet to be found, so the art gallery isn't safe.
It's not just us who are in danger. The people living in the city, everyone needs to be alerted. The ones who caused Frau Salmon's death and used her paintings for their works are most likely...
Please do not say the name. Frau Lowenstein, Das Kaiserinnenfest is just around the corner, and you know better than anyone that their majesties wouldn't want to see Zwillingstürme fall into chaos.
Which is why we're here. Can you at least inform the people who came to the gallery earlier? I worry for their mental state after seeing such horrific paintings.
How kind of you. I've already dispatched people to check on the crowd who came today, so don't worry. I also hope they didn't get too close a look.
Herr Wiesergraf, I don't want Frau Simon to have died a dubious death. She was a guest at Her Majesty's Spire on the night 23 years ago, correct? She witnessed firsthand the fall of the Witch King and the birth of our national heroes.
I see. But what of it? Believe me, mein Dame, on that night, the youths congregating before that pitch-black spiral spire weren't the only ones thirsting for dawn to break. There were many more. Moreover, most of them did not become the heroes they thought they would be, the brave soul delivering Lithanian's rebirth. Now, I've got an update on my intruder, so if you'll excuse me.
He's right. That night changed many things, but change isn't necessarily good. The remnants may have planned Frida Seaman's death as punishment for betraying the Witch King, or maybe it was meant to send a signal announcing a major move. Did they kill my father for the same reason?
Strange voice from a sculpture. My name.
Shush. Let me listen to these pieces.
It's just the performance of a vagrant.
He was playing the same melody this morning, but now of such a different mood. He expected the gallery to be full of visitors today, and was planning to have a sandwich for dinner with an extra bratwurst to go. But now he's realized that he might have to go to bed hungry yet again.
Did you probe into his mind with your arts?
No need for that. Haven't you noticed? The homeless gentleman is telling his story right now through his music. Again and again. All I'm doing is paying attention.
His story has nothing to do with us, though. The next stage has already been set. The stone sculpture by the flower bed ceases to speak. Instead of words, it now hums a tune, smooth and deep, from the vibrating structure within.
You Lithanians really do fancy your sound-producing sculptures. They give a perfect performance every time, but it lacks soul, just like the people trapped in the spires.
Arturia gently blows a pedal towards the mouthpiece of a large musical instrument carved into a sculpture. It rises and falls with the airflow, and the formerly uniform tune immediately changes ever so slightly.
Much better.
Yeah, Captain, we were so close to catching the intruder, but he suddenly disappeared on us. Or the roads outside the city still under lockdown. Yeah, he can't have gone far, or he can't have grown wings and flown over us, can he? Wings, hard to say. We've really let you down, Captain, encountering such a setback just when you were about to... It's fine, Pime, or Pim, or whatever your name is. Go find Graf Yosef and tell him that we've gone on with the art, or tell him what's gone on with the art gallery. Incidentally, I haven't heard the sound of gunfire in a long time. I've never been qualified to wield one, even back in my Laterano days. But I can assure you that the ones we use in the gendarmerie hit just as hard and true. So before my men return, you'd best put away your firearm and your other weapons. And then explain, what business brings a Sancta like you to Zwillingstürme? Loris Borden. Oh, you recognize me? Former Lateran citizen, 28 years ago you came to Lithanian from Laterano and joined the Gendarmerie. 23 years ago, the Twin Empresses conferred you the title of Vicegraf, and afterwards, you became the commander of the Gendarmerie, a position you still occupy to this day. Huh. I was counting on you to introduce yourself first. I require your assistance in bringing an important fugitive back to Laterano. Fugitive. Her name is Arturia. Now I remember. You're that executor from the Curious Fifth Tribunal, the notorial halls... sorry. The list of titles you sign on your sign-offs is always so long, I can't recall your actual name. Federico Giallo. Our dealings are considered international affairs, so according to protocol, signatures are to be as meticulous as possible. The dozens or so letters you've sent me are still 27 letters. Did you read them properly? Did you even open them at all? How could I? Anyway, you wrote all those letters over the past few years, and even personally came to Lithanian just to hunt down this fugitive, yes? She has been active in Lithanian for many years now. I have reason to believe she is related to numerous unusual cases occurring here, including many of the cases you're currently working on. First, it was His Majesty, and now a fugitive from Laterano. When it rains, it pours, I suppose. Did you require a briefing on the suspect and her situation from the very beginning? Alternatively, you may read it or you may read any of the letters I sent you. Reverend Executor, if I could just have a moment. Baron Lucas, please go ahead. Those violent thugs disturbing the peace on the streets are back. Alright, I got it. Send men over right away. And, of course, absolutely. I'll be there in person. Please rest assured the Gendarmerie will keep you safe and maintain Lithuanians' untarnished glory. As you can see, I'm a very busy man. I disagree. The social status of the informant should not be a criteria in determining the priority of your task. Look, we're not in Laterano. Speaking of which, you're not allowed to freely fire your gun or any other weapons to intimidate the residents here. No, more than that. You best stay in my sight while you're operating in Zwillingstürme. I am not aware of any such procedure. You mean the rules? Your rules are set by the people. I'd like to raise an objection. Then I'll have to arrest you at the first opportunity, Herr Federico. As someone who's fired multiple shots near Noble's private art gallery, many would like to see you as the biggest threat to Zwillingstürme order. District of Bodenshof, Karl Schmidt Street. Frida Simon, the deceased at the art exhibit, resided here for many years. Right. Marigold Alley, a place beloved by both painters and poets. Baron Lucas moved here 2 years ago. He claims he wanted to be closer to the increasingly rare artistic milieu. Of course, the reason might be that the homes here are cheaper than on the ones on Innerstadt. I find it very likely that my target has been here before. Don't be rash. Remember our agreement? Arturia Giallo is a beloved and highly esteemed musician here in Lithuanian. You're currently assisting the Gendarmerie with an unrelated case, under the premise that whatever you find has nothing to do with me or my men. I have discovered the alleged gang of violent thugs reported to be disturbing the peace. Immediately executing. Stay put. I suggest we immediately initiate arrest procedures. It's just a bunch of kids who don't want to attend their classes. Get moving, all of you. No loitering. So, you were here too. The investment sculptures were built under the Kaiserin's orders, and vandalism will not be tolerated. You are also bothering everyone in the neighborhood of the sound of chiseling. Still not shopping your arts? What the hell are you carving? Can't you see? I'm transforming this street back into its proper form. Twisted horns like those aren't allowed in Zwillingstürme. No, they're forbidden across all of Lithuanian. Step aside. We have to destroy them before the Empress's voices find out. Destroy? What makes you think you're brave enough to destroy a symbol of the Herkunftstorn? Herkunft? Where did you learn that name? Plenty of people already know. He'll be back soon after all. He was dethroned before you even learned to speak. You have no idea what those horns signify. Back then, he'd erect a sculpture like that on the streets wherever he killed a dissident. Someone's already dead, aren't they? The painter who lived down the street, she was the first. Run away with your tail between your legs, Mynheer. Whatever courage you had is ancient history. The first soldier to set foot in the Witch King's spire. Do you really think you're still the same hero? Don't think I'd let you off just because you hit a nerve, Schlingle. He's gone. Huh, let him run. Why did you not arrest him immediately? There's no point in rushing to fill up our prisons. May I suggest that your reluctance to arrest the boy was due to your personal feelings? I'm almost regretting my decision to bring you along, Reverend Executor. Agreed. Freedom of movement would allow me to lock down the target as soon as possible. No, I meant I should have detained you in our office instead. Oh hey, the 5-star is a character. It's getting more common to the point where I should not be surprised as much. Why is there another one here? Hey, Yunga. Make any noise and I'll really bring you in.
Yeah, the twisted horn of sculptures. Are you not going to clean them up?
Right. I still have those troublesome things to deal with. I really don't get what youngsters have in their heads these days.
They're not for an era we've never got to experience in person. But there's nothing wrong with that. All Athenians are entitled to feel disappointed with how things are today. For example, the coachmen casters have lost their jobs to Victorian automobiles, or the owners of the community theaters have closed down thanks to Rankwood's film industry, or their children, of course. When people see no way out, the only way they can imagine a future is by looking back to the past.
Huh. Did you hear all that from an adult at home?
As if. I guarantee you, she'd never say anything like that. All she knows is how to eliminate any threat in Lithuanian at its source.
The sculpture shattered, and so easily. He is clearly no ordinary student. I recommend stopping him for questioning. No, there's nothing ordinary about him, that's for sure. But all the more reason to keep our mouths shut. And now it's actually raining, huh? Want a drink, coffee, or maybe beer? If we're drinking at this place, I recommend the former. I do not make a habit of consuming fluids that will affect my central nervous system while on a mission. Alright, well, beer for me then. You are also on a mission, yeah. When else would I be drinking at this? Why else would I be drinking at this hour? It's a real shame these two have such similar voices and are now apparently going to be working together for the whole event. The child from the spire said that you were the first soldier to set foot in the Witch King's spire. He's not wrong. What, want me to sign a napkin for you? I would rather you sign the cooperation agreement I sent you. Reverend Executor, how old were you 23 years ago? The news coverage of the coup can't have been bigger than the ads for some new dessert shop, can't they? The Lateran noble. The Lateran who became the captain of the Zwillingstürme's gendarmerie. That's the headline, how the headline went. You sure did your homework. I paid no attention to your ties to the Lich King. The Loris Borden I read about was a law enforcement officer, working together with, having solved one strange case after another. Is that why you wrote me so many letters? Arturia's arts are unusual, and you are well versed in handling strangely similar cases. In the year 1079, you arrested a gang of thieves proficient in casting illusions for romance scams. In 1085, you shot dead a dangerous hypnotist. Wait, stop right there. Please don't take me for the protagonist of some detective drama. You appear to be avoiding the topic, Loris Borden. And why would I do that? It's just what I accepted early on, that I'm a loser. Did you know, Jan, that uncooperative child we ran into in Marigold Alley earlier, he had a sister who used to work here. She went missing 15 years ago. Judging by your special treatment of the young man, I assume the case remains unsolved. And that's the only case I haven't been able to crack. Not the first, and definitely not the last. There's nothing special about it at all. It's just, well, a notorial hall executor like you probably shouldn't have experienced failure, or probably hasn't experienced failure like that. Air Borden, you're here again. How are things lately? The doctor told me to give up drinking. That's a shame. To make a Lithuanian man in his prime cut off his alcohol intake is just as bad as making him go deaf. I even thought I'd give you a 50% discount if you brought the Damen und Herren from the Gendarmerie here for your retirement party. You're retiring. I'm leaving Lithuania once Das Kaiserinfest is over. Team, what's the kid been up to lately? Jan, the university applied to rejected him, so he probably went off to learn a proper trade. He's pretty talented with arts, and his grades in secondary school weren't bad either, so why wasn't he scouted by any of the universities? Because he threw away a recommendation letter. That bingo. He said you should be trying harder to find Yulia, rather than worrying about which school he's going to. And also, actually now that I've gone and said it, I think something's not quite right with the boy lately. On the day he got your recommendation letter, he asked me why his father didn't come back why his father didn't need one back in the day. Said he entered a certain Graf Spire solely by his own abilities. Talent was more important than lineage back then, when His Majesty was still around, his words. Where exactly has he been hanging out these days? Not sure. The Twisted Horn sculptures. As you implied, Jan shouldn't have ever known what they looked like, which means someone else showed him first. Oh right. Which area used to have the highest concentration of those twisted sculptures? Gustav Park, not far from here. They call it Forest Park these days. Why did they rename it to the to like a super generic forest park? You should head home today, early today, team. Sure, wait, Air Borden. Why did you give me your wallet? You could buy a whole year's worth of beer at this much. Keep it, it's for Jan. He's a clever kid, and should be good at university. There should be enough for him to leave Lithuania and go polish himself in Victoria or Columbia. The rain stops. The park fountains do not, and not even when the rain was still falling earlier. There are people sitting or standing under trees in groups of 2 or 3, most holding an instrument, violins, flutes, cellos. They seem to be playing independently, but the resulting performance is a harmonious ensemble. Melodies both soothing and mournful dance on the water and float through the trees. When I was a child, I heard that the Einwald was the vast stretch of Black Forest before the nomadic cities were built.
And whenever someone important passed away, people would go deep into the woods to remember the departed while playing their favorite music.
I don't see you holding an instrument.
When I returned to Lithanian, I brought nothing with me. I used to believe I could play all manners of instruments, but later I met a teacher who I respect, who was keen to tell me I didn't understand the first thing about music. But what he meant was, I didn't understand emotions. Back then, I couldn't comprehend how that was possible. My short life had already clearly been brimming with more than enough loss and suffering.
And then
my friend died.
Then you must have felt true pain.
To be honest, I'm still not sure how I truly understand. When I left Lithanian and traveled the lands, I would play for the people I met, and their prestige, or in their praise, only grew more enthusiastic with every place I visited. But I haven't played anything specifically for my dear friend in a long, long time.
I'm sure they'd love to hear your performance no matter what level you're at.
I know. And precisely because I know, I hope I can improve. Have I ever actually tried to stand up to anything in my life? Can I honestly tell him, with my back straight and my head held high, that I lived a full life? Rich enough, full enough, was it what that it was worthy of his sacrifice? I can't imagine how he would reply, because I'm not even sure what to say to him in the first place. And you, sir? What do you hold in your heart when you come here?
A mentor. He left us 23 years ago, but I never forgot him.
He must have been a great man. I heard that this park was established to commemorate the victims from 23 years ago. Every tree standing here replaced a twisted horn sculpture made of flesh and blood. I have to admire them. During those dark times, they had the courage to stand up and resist fate.
Perhaps you're the same. A lot of the music we listen to is much older than anything in the entire history of Lithanian. The wills of the party continue to live on in us through their music.
Live on in us. Right. I want to believe that. Do you see that man standing over there?
You mean the one carrying a sword who's been following you? Oh, snap.
That's the one.
Do you know him?
Serious, calm, lacking emotion. Their faces always look so alike that I don't even bother distinguishing them anymore. My time's up, isn't it? You certainly enjoy wasting time, Graf Urtica. Wunderbar. So I didn't mistake you for someone else. Truth be told, Herr Overseer, I did think I was ready for you when I first walked into the park. If their majesties want my life, then they can have it. After all, from then till now, and even for the foreseeable future, my life has never truly been a boon to anyone. Did you come here to plan your suicide? I only considered it for a moment. Besides, if I'd pointed my wand at my throat, you'd rush in to stop me, no? The voice of the mundane is yet to play, so you cannot die. What a shame. No matter who I hear that from, it never makes me the slightest bit happy. Can you hear the cello? I spend the afternoon reviewing my past through the sound of music and myself on the water's surface. My conclusion, my life really isn't worth any more than it was a few years ago. However, just back then, no one can use it or manipulate it. Especially not you people. What are you saying? An ambush!
Several black spheres conjured with art leap from the puddles in the area, They had been camouflaged within the reflections of the trees and the water, and accompanied the melodies drifting through the air as they accumulated energy from the wobbly ripples. Yeah. So they sent the whole party just to execute me. Would you like me to perform a deep bow in appreciation of their majesties? Sadly, I'm doomed to disappoint them. I still haven't figured out when I'll play for him. But there is one thing I will absolutely tell him myself. I tried, and I was always trying. I never stopped resisting.
A single military.
I wonder why they're wanting to kill him now, when they gave him a fake identity before.
This is just a nuisance. Cleared aside.
Also, what is all these items? Note of Fear. Piece of fallen memory preserved with arts that pulses in your palm to the rhythm of emotion. It will be forged into a key before oblivion. Knock on its door and reach out. We should have been united in fear. Oops, I accidentally clicked off the stage. Okay, well. Herbst and Fulgen unlocked. The Empress's celebrations approaches. Celebration and commotion coexist with this under the spires of Zwillingstürme. Many outdoor concerts have been interrupted by unidentified noises, being forced to stop their performances lately, throwing the capital into serious disorder. But the troublemakers are nowhere to be found. One evening, you receive a mysterious letter sealed with gold wax. Accept the task and investigate the incident as you walk the streets of Zwillingstürme. Herbst and Fulgen, you are an expert in witnessing or in witness interviews and extracting key clues from your conversations. Use Originium Arts with your collected clues and the appropriate inner tune to reproduce the witness's mood. Pry into what they actually saw, then piece together the truth. Pursue your investigation to get a clearer picture of what transpired, and your clues will point to some particular and relevant individuals who will show up in succession. Authorization warrants are required to investigate these individuals. Tap on the icon to convert covert visitations for more details. To replicate the subject's mood, you'll need to choose an inner tune that matches their aspect and way of want. Routine investigations. In addition to covert and visitations, daily routine visitations have witnesses from the general public will also be required. You can complete up to 3 visitations a day. Make sure you complete them in time, for uncompleted visitations will not carry over. Replicating the subject's mood will require an inner tune with just a matching emotional suite and way of want. Complete this routine visitation to obtain the corresponding reward. Select the corresponding investigation target to start a conversation with and switch between them on the left. Judgments and analysis of the current situation will flash in your mind as momentary thoughts as you talk to the other party. Visitation procedure. Once you've collected enough clues from your visitation or your conversation, present an inner tune with a matching emotional suite and a way of want to replicate the target's mood and reconstruct what truly happened. If there are none, you can create new ones. Visitation result, you immediately sense the success, replicate the mood, blah blah. Okay. I don't really want to talk to anyone though. Oh boy. Compose art's tune. Play the sound on for a more immersive experience. In Lithuanian, music often serves as an arts medium, and casters attempt or adept at Varsargung arts use music to touch the depths of all kinds of souls. One use of such arts is to collect clues from conversations. As you construct your arts, you'll be able to enter a mental space built by your chosen technique and connect notes together to obtain emotional reflecting aspects, perceive and uncover the different ways of want to create an inner tune that will free the mind. When you shine a light on the right keyhole, the path you seek will be lit, and the truth within your heart will emerge from the fog. Place 3 notes here to determine your inner tune's aspect. After confirming the selected aspect, select a revelatory way of want for your inner tune. Each way of want represents a different type of desire. Switch from compose arts tune to hearken the arts on the left. In hearken the arts, you can view and listen to unlocked inner tunes and their different variations by changing the currently selected way of want. Okay. I don't understand, but okay. Cool, okay, oh, this is a lot. Why is it timed? I don't want to do it right now. Student Marlies. Marlies is a student of the Arts Spire. She claims to have heard some noise at the scene and was determined it contains some sort of rhythm, only she can't exactly remember it, rather. Question. How about this? Do you remember what you were doing when you heard the noise? Answer. I was heading home at the time, trying to squeeze my way through the crowd watching the performance. There are so many people here. I knew I shouldn't have gone out to buy sausages in the evening. Even the shopkeeper was drunk. Well, that's what I heard. That dreadful noise. Ah! Just as she was excitedly describing the situation, a book slides off her head and crashes onto her shoulder, falling open. A schedule slips free of the pages and floats down, every inch of it crammed full of various tasks, all related to studying Orangenium arts. Question, do you all face pressure to study? Pressure? Well, teachers always say that climbing the spire is a long and arduous journey, that many scholars never make it to the Palace of Knowledge. Every week, there's always some lacking students leaving the spire. Given that I'm an Edler, I gotta put in effort if I want to remain here. She scratches her head and smiles brightly at the end of her explanation. She's quite optimistic. I can help her remember. Could it be that you used the excuse to buy sausages to sneak out and relax? You guessed it. I had a report due the next day, but I couldn't figure out what to write it as. So I decided to buy sausages and relax. Sausages are great after all. Or after that, rather. I don't know why, but I felt really inspired that I went back and felt way better. At the time of the incident, the subject was facing heavy pressure to study when a perfectly timed and delectable sausage brought her mood back up. Recreate her emotions with a proper music of heart. Perhaps worldly desires are more suitable than given her enjoyment of delicious food. But, like, I don't know. Desire for worldly things, yeah? Pleasure, desire of worldly things, joys opus. Is this correct? The music of the heart sounds resonating with the heartstrings of the subject and bringing back memories. Matched. As the melody reveals, we're feeling great after snacking on sausages. Do you call it now? Ah, now I remember. I was chewing on my sausage as I walked when all of a sudden that noise rang out. Then someone bumped into me. I was fine, but my sausage wasn't. The person who bumped into me wanted to apologize by singing me a song right then and there. So the noise wasn't the source of the rhythm. Marlize went back to the spire to continue her studies. No useful information was garnered from her, and this line of investigation was closed. Alright. Lindner is the owner of a cafe which was closed due to suspicions of hosting gatherings of Twisted Horn worshippers. He surrendered himself to the gendarmerie, claiming to be one of the who caused the noise. Lindner, perhaps we can sit down and talk about this. Why did you choose to express your dissatisfaction by disrupting the performance? I don't even know what we're investigating. Like, who are we? What are we doing? Why is this happening? Dissatisfaction? No, you're wrong. Why would I be dissatisfied with an honorable gendarmerie and our majestic Kaisernen? But there were so many people at the performance. That's so many more than my cafe. I'm sure there were a lot of gatherings that you didn't want to see. He swung his fist around with a proud look on his face. True, this was fitting reason for him. Apparently his son was a fervent worshipper of the Twisted Horns and had been part of a plot to disturb performances. When was the last concert you attended? The Colombian rock concert last Friday in Boschoff. I gave them some accompaniments with my horn and drums, haha. In fact, the concert was changed at the last minute to a performance to commemorate the famous architect Bosch. This was not reported, or Bach. This was not reported in the news. Last Friday, there was a loud argument in the cafe which ended with his son storming out of the cafe after smashing a Colombian-made player. Question. There was a time when your business was in surplus, or in a slump rather. Until you started playing rock music and Rankwood movies in the cafe, correct? I don't know anything. I don't know who did it. Maybe a customer. The staff is not... That stuff is not music. We've written so much beautiful music that accompanies us our entire lives, but now... Stop asking questions. I said I did it. What more do you want? His son was fuming over his... He was fuming over his son's actions, rather. Recreate his emotions. Perhaps worldly desires are more suitable given his worries about his livelihood. Anger or wrath, desire of worldly things. Anger is opus. Oh my gosh, these things have lore too? There's different sub-aspects. My gosh. The music of the heart sounds resonating with the heartstrings, bring back memories. The melody reveals that you were in the cafe all day. You believe that your son was responsible for the noise and wanted to take the fall for him. My son, he used to be such a perfect boy. He loved watching me play the violin, and he got into the spires with top grades. He saw business drop as the young people going to rock parties at the other establishments. He didn't mean to do it. He must have. He just lost his cool. That's all. Please believe me. The Gendarmerie sent Herr Lindener back to his cafe. No useful information was garnered. Alright. That's great and all. But, I gotta go. I guess that's just gonna stay highlighted. Fair enough.
Have you been doing well lately, Doctor?
That's great and all, and we'll read it as much as we can, but not right now. I guess I'll have to do that other one. I don't know if there's lore. Like I don't know what that is. What is the lore behind that? I don't know. I guess I'll make note of anything I think is important. It's probably nothing too consequential. But that's it for now. We'll continue tomorrow. We'll actually get through more stuff tomorrow. More levels, more stories. I saw the tutorials next, so that's cool. I'll also make sure I go farm some guard chips, which are actually available right now. Wait, hold on. What is this? You can set the amount of times you want to auto deploy now? Mwah, that's perfect. Oh my goodness. That's pretty cool. No one told me that was a thing. Very neat. This might take the whole week? Well, of course it will. But it's gonna take more than a whole week because there's 3 parts to this one, right? This is a big one. So which is gonna, you know. Well, we'll see how quick it is to get to the story compared to the extra levels. But anyway, thank you all for watching. And until we meet again, may the sands of time treat you well.